Hi there, my name is Robin Steedman, and I'm one of the lecturers in Creative Arts and Industries here at the University of Glasgow. And in this presentation, I'm going to give you a brief introduction to the Creative Arts and Industries program. The Creative Arts and Industries program is in the School of Culture and Creative Arts. This means that with this program, you join a vibrant and rich area of study and practice in areas including film and television studies, music, theater studies, and history of art. So to just give you a sense of Creative Arts and Industries as a program, it's a four-year program, of course. And in levels 1 and 2, you will study creative arts and industries alongside two other subjects of your choosing. And they may be from across the school or the college, or sometimes across the university, from other parts of the university. And at honors level, you'll take options from across the school. So we're really embedded in the whole School of Culture and Creative Arts in this program. But what do we mean by arts and industries? How do we approach them? What will you be studying? So our program focuses on the critical study of arts and culture across various domains, whether that's film, theater, fashion, design, video games, or any other dimension of culture. But it is different from a vocational course that you might study at a film school or an art school or conservatory. We're not teaching you how to make things, really. Rather, we're thinking about how culture is produced, how it's distributed, received, valued, and understood. And so we're thinking about the critical meanings and so on around arts and culture. We do think about arts and culture across creative disciplines, and this is really appealing for students who maybe don't know exactly what they want to specialize in, but are very interested in creative industries and their intersections, say, for example, in music and film, and how those things might work together. As indeed they almost always do in the creative industries. So in level 1, you'll study two courses to introduce you to this program. The first of these is Introduction to Creative Practice. And here you'll look at key examples of projects and practitioners. We'll think about some big questions about what counts as creative practice and creativity. We'll think about how cultural works are developed and produced and how they're presented to the world. The emphasis is really on the creative journey and the process of bringing an idea into the world. And one of the key assessments of this course, which really gets the kind of hands-on work started right away in the program, is a pitch for a creative project. And that's where you'll think up, creative idea, be it a new film, a new music festival, a fashion show, and pitch both the creative idea itself and the rationale for how it could come to be, practically speaking, to the class as a whole. In Introduction to Creative Industries, you start to think about the industry of creativity. You'll think about the stakeholders, the organizations, the institutions that influence the creative industries. So how are they regulated? Who gets priority funding or not? What's the role of cultural policy, for example, in supporting creative work? And we really think about how creative products and projects are imagined, funded, circulated, and so on from an industrial point of view. And when you move into level 2, you'll study creative labor. And this really asks, what does work in the creative sector look like? And how could it be better? So for example, there are a lot of issues in the creative industries around fair work, precarity, inclusion, diversity. So you'll learn to think critically about those things, but also to think imaginatively about how to change them for the better. Next part, in the next module in cultural analysis, you'll study how cultural objects work in context and how culture relates to society, politics, and identity. To really zoom in on these objects and what they mean. Why does culture matter to us as a people? Looking further ahead to honors level, you'll study a core course called Making Culture Happen. And that's exactly what you'll do in that course. You'll make culture happen. So that course leads you through developing and presenting a cultural project of your own choosing. So you'll come up with a creative idea and actually execute it. Whereas in level 1, you had a pitch you didn't need to go on and develop. In honors level, you'll actually do it. So in the past, student projects have included film screenings with live musical accompaniment and a series of live music performances around campus, for example. And in your honors level, you'll also choose options to study from across the School of Cultural and Creative Arts to really hone in on exactly what it is you're interested in and develop your passions of study. So we also have courses that are creative industry specific that really adopt our perspective. For example, a course on cultural work alternatives, another on creative worlds, and more on cultures of migration and revolution. And your options from across the school are, of course, many and broad. Students have taken courses on topics such as Iranian cinema, Latin American music, Chinese painting, and so on and so forth. And an exciting option you have as well in your third year of study is to study abroad. And there you can go to institutions kind of across the world. We've got a really, really exciting study abroad program that you can choose from. And finally, in your fourth year, this is when you'll do your dissertation, as well as study other option modules. And those dissertations can be written, but they can also be practice-based, where you make, a multimedia component or something like that. So we're really focusing on creative expression as well as other forms of written expression across all of our assessments. Okay, so why choose to study this program in Glasgow? I think a vital thing we have going for us is all of our local connections. So we incorporate a lot of work-based learning and assessment, and that really helps develop student skills around pitching projects, creative development, project management, and so on. And we bring in guest speakers across all our courses. So previously, that's included film programmers and curators, artists, union representatives, and so on. So you're really kind of getting a feel for what's happening in the industry from the people who are working in it or who are trying to change it. We also include visits to cultural sites and venues so that you can see the places where culture might happen and take place. And previously, this has included visits to the BBC studio space, to SWG3, which is a multi-art form nightlife venue, cool, really cultural space in Glasgow, as well as to cultural cooperatives where people are doing their work in really different ways. The university also has its own cultural venues and programs, so you'll be surrounded by art and culture the whole time you're here. We've got the Hunterian Art Gallery and Museum, for example, and the School of Cultural and Creative Arts has a great program we run called Thinking Culture of, public events. There's also many clubs and societies you can join where you can, explore your creativity with your peers. And Glasgow, of course, is a really cool creative city. It's one of the UK's top cultural and creative cities. It's a UNESCO City of Music, and there are cultural institutions, spaces, and practitioners all over the city that you'll engage with through your program, but also on your own. So you can really have a rich experience in Glasgow and if experiencing art and culture and bring that into the program. We actively encourage you to draw on your own experiences and interests in culture and creativity and bring those into the classroom. So building on our rich local connections, we're also very connected globally. So our staff has research expertise in creative industries all around the world, and we bring those insights into the classroom to give you a truly global sense of how culture and creativity happen. And going beyond the classroom, there are other opportunities for global experiences. I've already mentioned the study abroad year or semester you can take in your third year of study, but there are also many short-term mobility initiatives in different parts of the world that you can explore. So to wrap up, I hope that this presentation has been helpful in giving you a sense of the program. Thank you.